Nobody saw this coming, because somewhere along the way, trucks quietly turned into luxury apartments on wheels. Sleeper cabs stopped being simple beds behind seats and became moving homes built for comfort, freedom, and unbelievable luxury. Volvo VNL Mega Sleeper. At first glance, this feels like a normal Volvo rolling down the highway. Clean lines, smooth shape, that familiar aerodynamic look. Nothing dramatic. But then you notice something strange. The cab just keeps going and going. Suddenly you realize this thing isn't built only for driving anymore. The Volvo VNL Mega Sleeper stretches the idea of a truck into something completely different. With roughly 180 inches of extended living space and a Volvo D13 engine pushing around 500 horsepower, this machine wasn't built for quick stops. It was built for people who almost live on the road. And once you step inside, the illusion breaks completely. Right behind the driver sits a real living space, a sofa, a folding dining table, lighting that feels closer to a hotel than a truck stop. Move deeper, and there's a full kitchen with a refrigerator, microwave, cooktop, and integrated storage. Then comes the surprise, a queen-size bed surrounded by insulation and finished with premium leather and wood details. For a second, you forget this thing even has wheels. This wasn't a sleeper anymore. It was an apartment disguised as a truck. Peterbilt 389 full black custom. And this is where things changed. The Volvo felt elegant. This one feels dangerous. The Peterbilt 389 full black custom doesn't ask for attention. It takes it. Deep black paint, carefully placed chrome, stretched proportions. It looks like something that belongs in a movie instead of a truck stop. But outside appearance isn't even the crazy part. Hidden behind that aggressive shell is more than 180 inches of sleeper space and power figures climbing into the 500 to 565 horsepower range. Open the door, and suddenly the mood flips. Inside, the whole truck becomes strangely calm. Leather seating, warm lighting, rich wood finishes. It feels less like transport and more like a private executive lounge. There's a compact luxury kitchen, integrated appliances, and layouts that sometimes include a private bathroom and shower. Add premium sound insulation, and the outside world almost disappears. That contrast, brutal outside, peaceful inside, might be what makes this build unforgettable. Freightliner Argosy Custom Mansion. Now, hold on, because this next one completely ignores normal truck proportions. The Freightliner Argosy already looks unusual because of its cab-over layout. No giant hood, everything stacked forward. But somebody looked at that and thought, what if we turned it into a mansion? The result feels unreal. Some versions stretch beyond 30 feet of total living space and immediately look more like a luxury RV than a heavy-duty truck. Hand-painted murals cover the exterior and make every building feel personal. But once inside, the scale becomes impossible to ignore. There's an actual living room feeling here. Sofa space, ambient lighting, custom woodwork everywhere. Then comes a residential-style kitchen with a full refrigerator and microwave setup that feels built for months, not days, on the road. Further back sits a queen bed surrounded by storage and optional bathroom layouts with enclosed showers. And here's what makes it wild. Many of these projects take years to finish because nearly everything is handcrafted. Imagine pulling into a truck stop and realizing someone beside you basically parked a tiny luxury house. Peterbilt 220 ARI Luxury Sleeper. And then, luxury stopped trying to hide. If people talk about extreme sleeper trucks, one name appears again and again. ARI Legacy Sleepers. Their Peterbilt 220 build feels less like vehicle customization and more like architecture. This thing stretches beyond 200 inches of sleeper space, more than 16 feet dedicated only to living. That sounds excessive until you step inside. The entrance opens into a genuine living area with a sofa placed as it belongs in a studio apartment. Adjustable LED lighting changes the entire mood depending on the time of day. Walk further, and the kitchen arrives. Finished countertops, integrated appliances, and storage that actually feels residential. But the moment that changes everything is the bathroom. Not a corner setup, not a compromise, a real enclosed shower with privacy and a proper layout. Then further back sits a fixed premium bed designed for actual recovery after long road days. Every build is custom. Every detail changes depending on the owner. And honestly, at collector-level prices, that probably makes sense. Kenworth W900L Limited Edition. Now imagine combining old-school American trucking culture with luxury that feels almost too expensive to touch. That's the Kenworth W900L Limited Edition. Long hood, classic profile. The truck is instantly recognizable yet rare, with limited production and exclusive finishes that add exclusivity. Its sleeper extends around 156 inches, hiding surprising comfort. Engines from 565 to 605 horsepower ensure strong performance. Inside, premium leather, dark wood accents, a retractable sofa, and a compact kitchen create a refined cabin, sometimes with bathrooms. It feels less futuristic and more timeless, blending decades of American trucking heritage into a moving luxury suite experience overall today. Peterbilt 379 Smith's Rolling Fleet. But now, luxury stopped trying to look modern and went straight back to old-school American dominance. The Peterbilt 379 already had legendary status before anyone stretched it into something this extreme. Long hood, endless presence, the kind of truck that still turns heads before the engine even wakes up. And then someone decided normal wasn't enough. This version pushed beyond 200 inches of sleeper space and earned a nickname inside the fleet, the Rolling Beast. Not because it was loud, but because of what happened when the doors opened. Power usually sat in the 550 to 600 horsepower range, built to move serious weight without feeling stressed. Inside, though, everything changed. Dark wood finishes gave the cabin a classic luxury feeling. A full sofa created actual living space. There was even a proper dining setup for real meals. Add a complete kitchen, queen bed comfort, and suddenly, this truck felt less like transportation and more like a moving private retreat. And somehow, it still looked ready to dominate every truck show. Volvo VNL with integrated garage. And this is where things got ridiculous. Most sleeper trucks try to become homes. This Volvo VNL decided that wasn't enough and brought the garage too. At first, it looks oversized. Then you notice the proportions. More than 220 inches of sleeper space stretching behind the cab. And hidden at the rear, something nobody expects. A built-in garage. Powered by a Volvo D13 with 3 around 500 horsepower, this thing wasn't built just to move cargo. It was built to move a lifestyle. Step inside and there's a sofa living area that feels calm and surprisingly warm. Lighting flows across the interior without feeling flashy. The kitchen looks residential with full appliances and premium finishes. Then further back comes a private bathroom with an enclosed shower, independent climate control, and a sleeping area designed for actual recovery. And finally, the rear opens. A motorcycle loading system. Imagine parking the truck, unloading your bike, and continuing the journey. This wasn't just a truck anymore. It became a home that brought its own freedom. Peterbilt 589 Ultra Cab. Now hold on, because this next one didn't chase old school luxury, it reinvented it. The Peterbilt 589 Ultra Cab kept that unmistakable long hood identity, but wrapped it in something much more modern. Cleaner surfaces and smarter technology gave it a refined look with more confidence and less chrome. Its sleeper stretched between 150 and 180 inches, but the real story began inside the cabin. Digital displays, simplified controls, and a 500 horsepower engine made long-distance travel smooth. Ambient LED lighting, a premium sofa, and kitchen amenities created a luxury living space on wheels today. Peterbilt Shell Bootleggers. Pulling team. Second place wasn't built to impress truck fans, it was built to support champions. The Peterbilt Shell Bootlegger setup looked less like a sleeper and more like a mobile headquarters. Bold graphics, competition attitude, a stretched profile that immediately told you this thing wasn't showing up quietly. Its sleeper pushed beyond 220 inches and carried enough space to feel almost unreal. Engines in the 550 to 600 horsepower range handled the heavy work, while the inside handled everything else. Open the door, and suddenly the energy changes. Lounge-style seating creates a place for planning, meetings, and recovery. There's a complete kitchen designed for crew use, real preparation space, and a bathroom built for constant travel. Sleeping arrangements make extended event schedules possible without hotels, but here's what made it different. This truck wasn't luxury for luxury's sake. It was a fully moving operations base, and sometimes people ended up staring at the truck more than the machines it transported. Volvo VNL Expedition. Nobody expected the biggest sleeper truck to feel this quiet, because first place wasn't about showing off, it was about living. The Volvo VNL Expedition took everything before it and pushed further. More than 220 inches of luxury sleeper space, total length reaching around 40 feet, powered by a Volvo D13, producing roughly 500 to 525 horsepower. It was designed for people who saw highways as home. And once you walk inside, everything changes. A real residential kitchen, refrigerator, cooktop, storage everywhere. Then a private bathroom with an enclosed shower that doesn't feel temporary at all. Behind that sits a queen bed protected by insulation and climate control. But that wasn't the feature that made it number one. Independent power, independent water, days, sometimes weeks, without needing hotels or outside facilities. That's when it hits you. This wasn't a sleeper cab. This was a $1 million apartment that I happened to be driving down the highway. And honestly, this is what makes these trucks impossible to forget. They started as places to sleep and became moving homes built around freedom, comfort, and imagination. So now the question is simple. Could you actually live like this full time, or would home still win?